Hello and welcome to today's Navitas webinar. My name is Daniel and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we start, I would like to remind the audience to ask in English if you have a question, for today's interview is not from Indonesia and does not understand Bahasa. Please welcome today's interviewees, Chris, and sir, time and place is served for you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. It's brilliant to be here today. So thank you very much for the school for inviting me along. I'm going to talk briefly today about trying to help you and your students achieve your dream of studying overseas and talk about some of the opportunities that we can offer with pathways to universities in Australia, the UK, Canada, and many other options. My name is Chris. I am the regional manager for Navitas in Southeast Asia, and I've had the experience over the last 11 years of helping students achieve their dreams of studying overseas. I've worked in student support, I've worked in admission services, I've worked in marketing, and I've even worked in accommodation services, trying to make sure that students find their dream of studying overseas. During this chat, we've got the opportunity to ask questions at the end, so please use the chat function to ask any questions. I'll happily answer them at the end of this session. But to start off, I'm going to ask you a simple question. What are you dreaming of? What are you really thinking that you want to try and achieve over the next few years of your life? What are you dreaming is your perfect career? Are you dreaming of studying somewhere that's full of history and tradition? Are you dreaming of exploring the world? You know, trying to find some new and exciting places to visit and explore. Are you dreaming of being creative? We're seeing more and more students are really interested in the creative arts. We've got lots of options to help them. Are you dreaming of helping people? This year's been a very unusual year for all of our lives, where more than ever we've been reliant on people that can help, that need to help other people. Perhaps that's one of your dreams. Are you dreaming of just graduating, getting into a university and achieving your dream of graduating in a great course as soon as possible? Or finally, you're just dreaming of getting started. This year has been a very strange year where a lot of us have just had to wait for the world to get back to normal. So hopefully we can talk about some of the options to get you started on this journey. This is where I want to introduce Navitas to you. Navitas is a global education provider, and our aim is to provide life-changing opportunities to learn. We were created 25 years ago by a very simple dream and idea that we wanted to help students adapt and succeed when they came and studied overseas. Our founder spotted that many of the students that were joining the university that he was working at were very gifted and smart students, but needed a bit more help and assistance when they first arrived onto campus. And so we created the first on-campus pathway college to help students adapt to their life in their chosen destination country. Every year we deliver for thousands of students on top quality academic success for our students. We, across all of our pathway colleges, have really groundbreaking stats that are above the average of our competitors and the universities that we work with. And we're very proud that we have some great success rates, particularly proud of the statistic that 98% of our students are satisfied with the course that they study with Navitas. We're a truly global company. We have, from east to west, we've got colleges all across the world, from New Zealand, Australia, through to the UK, Canada, USA, Singapore, Dubai. We really are a truly global company. At a glance, we work with 30 different university partnerships, with one additional new partnership being launched in Canada this week. We have 19,000 students studying across the world with us, of which 14,000 are actually in Australia. So we have a really popular set of options for you. I won't go into too much detail on every one of those colleges today. We've got a lot of different famous partners around the world that Navitas work. In Australia, we work with top partners like Deakin University, the University of Adelaide, La Trobe University in Melbourne. We've got options in Canberra, in the capital of Australia, right up to options in Sydney, one of the most popular cities to study. In Canada, we've got options in Vancouver, Manitoba, and now in Toronto with Ryerson University. Very, very popular destination for our students from Indonesia. In the UK, we've worked with 10 different UK partners. We've got top quality ranked universities like Swansea University, Leicester, Brunel University in London. We've got new partnerships in the Netherlands. So if you're interested in studying in Europe, we can now help you with that option as well by giving you an on-campus experience at the University of Twente or the University of The Hague for Applied Sciences. I'm going to spotlight in on 4 or 5 colleges for you now, just to give you a little bit of a taster as to how we work. And then I will go on and tell you about how I can help you achieve the dream of studying in one of these universities. Australia, as I mentioned, is probably one of our most popular options. 14,000 students came and studied on one of our on-campus colleges just in the last year. From east to west, we've got options in the fantastic city of Perth, and I'll talk about Curtin College shortly. We've got options in Adelaide, in South Australia. We've got 2 university partnerships to help you with. Melbourne, probably the most popular option that we have. I'll talk about Deakin College and Deakin University. We go up the coast, we've got options in Canberra, in Sydney, in Brisbane, fantastic city to go and study in. First college I will focus on is Deakin College, Deakin University. This is a truly fantastic university. You'll see from some of the statistics there on the left-hand side that it's truly a top global university. You know, we're in the top 150 universities in the world. That's probably out of about 20 or 30,000 universities that are registered in the world. We're in the top 150 for accounting, finance, business, computing, public health. Our accounting and finance course is actually rated in the top 1% of all the programs in the world. And Melbourne is definitely one of the world's most livable cities. Every year it reaches the top 10 and is a really fantastic place to go and study. Moving across into Perth, into West Australia, we work with Curtin University. Again, ranked top 1% in the world. It's a really top quality option. Truly world-class in mineral and mining engineering, but also top 10 in things like architecture and the built environment. They've got a fantastic art and design school, great at nursing. If you're not sure about studying in Australia, but you're still interested perhaps in studying with Curtin University, we actually have a Curtin campus in Singapore. So we operate a full Curtin University campus in Singapore, where you can go and do an identical degree to the course you would study in Perth, but in Singapore, where you can actually speed up your studies by doing your bachelor's degree in a 2-year period. You can look at transfer options between the different Curtin campuses. So if you wanted to move to Perth, or perhaps the campus in Malaysia, Dubai, or Mauritius, we can very easily move you around as you see fit. And Singapore, as I'm sure you know, is a really fantastic place to go and study. A city that I know very well, I have family there, is Vancouver, and it's a really amazing place to study. So moving over now into Canada, we've got a great option in Vancouver, one of the most popular cities in Canada. And we work with Simon Fraser University, SFU, which is the #1 comprehensive university in Canada. What does comprehensive mean? It means that it's focused on teaching. So a lot of universities in the world will really focus on their research and the work that their academics are doing, but a comprehensive university focuses purely on teaching. And this year we were rated as the best university for that in Canada. We have about 150 different programs that we can focus on across 8 faculties, ranging from fantastic business and MBA programs through to law, the sciences, arts, health sciences. It's a really, really great place to go and study. In Europe and the UK, we work with 13 different partners. And I'm not going to dwell on these too much, but some of the top options you might want to consider is studying in London with Brunel University. And they've got a fantastic engineering department that's really, really world class. The university is actually named after one of the most famous engineers in the UK, Brunel. In Europe, we've got 2 fantastic options that are proving very popular with our students from Indonesia. The University of Twente has a long history of working with people and students from Indonesia. And I'd highly recommend you look up the details for Twente University. A really top university for those who are very studious and academic students. Now, how does this work? How does Navitas work with all of these different universities? At the core of everything we do is a pathway college. This is an on-campus pathway experience. We don't have a separate campus that you move to a university in the future. All of our students start on campus from day one. We have a wide range of programs that offer really, really good personalized support in a very helpful and supportive environment. Every Navitas college has automatic progression into your university of choice. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. But every student has that guaranteed progression into the university. Every student gets university status, which means that actually they can access all of the facilities around the university. They can use the student unions and the support clubs and sports societies, etc. How it works. So we're what we would call the alternative route to university. We have different entry levels depending on your level of study. Now, the graph that I've mapped out here looks at how a student that's coming through from your school can join a first-year diploma with Navitas. And that's a program that's equivalent to the first year of study in any of our universities. All of our universities accredit and examine the programs that we offer here. So we help students that don't necessarily meet the academic entry requirements to join the program directly, perhaps those that don't want to go through entry examinations, or perhaps those that just want to get a little bit of extra help and support when they start the program. Typically, and it does vary by destination country, you join after school to this first year program and you join the year 2 of your chosen bachelor's degree and go through the bachelor's study until graduation. And then you can either go on to postgraduate study or that aim of perhaps your chosen career in the future. What are our typical entry requirements? And the first caveat I will add here is this does vary across every one of our different colleges. So this is a guide for a first year entry. Typically, we need 2 types of academic and English qualifications. Your school results, and we know you go to a very good school, so I'm sure your grades will be very good here. We need your IELTS score. Now, if you don't have IELTS or want to take a different type of English test, we also accept programs like the Pearson's test. We take a whole range of different other programs as well that we can accept. We have no application fee. And so if you need to, if you're worried about how you apply, just simply make an application and we can then have a conversation to see how we can help you. If you want more information on the entry requirements or any of the detailed courses, I've included the web link down here where you can see a lot more information about our different programs. This has been an unusual year, and I know I found it a very unusual year myself. The world has been on pause, and so our aim within Navitas this year has been to get you started as soon as you possibly can. So we've introduced our digital campus. It's not a new campus for us. We've run our programs online for many, many years, but this year we've had more students than ever studying online. And so a few of the pictures I've shown on the right-hand side of the screen there is to introduce our digital campus. And this is where you have everything from our virtual learning environment, a VLE, where you can focus and get all the access to the course materials, recordings of your lectures, speak to your friends and your colleagues, get your exams. Everything is run through the VLE. We run lectures and classes online, but we're very aware that some students are worried about internet connectivity, time zones, so you don't necessarily have to watch your lectures live. You can watch them on a kind of a catch-up show after your program, after the lecture has happened. We aim at introducing really meaningful community engagement. We want to get you back onto our campuses as soon as it's safe to do so. And so we've added measures to our digital campus that allow you to make friends and connections before you travel to one of our countries. The campus is available at nearly every one of our Navitas colleges around the world, and we have intake points running throughout the year. You can start pretty much at any time. I'm now going to pause and see if there are any questions. I'm just going to move over to the chat. I hope that was a helpful overview for everybody. It's a good, hopefully a nice way for you to understand a little bit more about what we can offer. And if you have any questions, we'll go through them there. Have we had many, Daniel?
Well, sir, the presentation was extraordinary, very informative, and very interesting indeed. It looks like that you guys are very international.
Absolutely. We have, we work, and I forget the full list, but in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, the UAE, Dubai, Germany, the Netherlands, UK, US, and Canada. And that's before we even get into our creative media colleges called SAE. So we are truly a very global organization.
Yeah. Okay, there isn't really a lot of questions coming from the app, but I'll say whatever is on the app right now. The first one was from Brian Chai, and the question is, excuse me, I want to ask, is there any acceleration program? If yes, what are the requirements? Thank you.
So our programs aren't necessarily acceleration programs. We adapt each of our programs to the qualification that the student has. So if we take the Indonesian school system as an example, if you graduate with your SMU3, we will get you entry into a year one program. And so that means you join the first year of usually a 3 or a 4 year undergraduate program. So we don't necessarily speed you up, but we don't require you to do any extra kind of bridging years. We don't require you to do any entry examinations in a lot of cases. So it's not necessarily a fast track, but it's definitely a smooth and easy way into your university life.
Okay, thank you for the answer, sir. But there is also another question from Jason. The question is, can Navitas help with the living costs in Europe?
A very common question. So typically moving from Indonesia into a country overseas isn't the cheapest of options. And so we do offer scholarships for our students. Those scholarships are typically related to the tuition fees of the program. So there's normally 2 parts of the costs associated with studying abroad. The first part is your tuition fees. That varies quite a lot depending on the country that you'd like to study in. So in Europe, for example, you're probably looking at about 12,000 euros per year. In the UK, perhaps you're looking at maybe between 12 and 16,000 pounds per year, depending on the program that you choose. Living costs are normally in a similar area. You're looking at about, say, 9 or 10,000 euros per year. So we do have some scholarships on the tuition fee that allow students to balance the costs of their studies, but they do need to be expecting to cover a lot of those costs. I can see
Okay, thank you for the answer.
questions from Jason as well, Daniel, if that's all right. I can continue asking there. So one of the questions was on part-time jobs, and that's a very common question for our students to ask. And our students are able to take part-time jobs during their program. Nearly every visa that we have on offer allows students to do part-time work to support their studies. There are a few exceptions, but generally a student can take a part-time job to support their studies.
Thank you, sir, for the answer for both those questions. There's also another question from Gilbert Ray. Oh wait, no, sorry, not
What's
Gilbert
the
Ray.
part-time job one? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Nathaniel Zefania. Are SATs or other kind of standardized test is required to apply?
So they aren't required to apply. Really good question, Nathaniel. So we typically the whole ethos of Navitas is to make that admission and entry experience to the university as simply as possible. So we don't require additional standardized tests if you have taken your high school result. There are, of course, exceptions to that. Some of the more technical and programs, such as the medical programs or the engineering programs, may require standardized tests, but typically Navitas has done the work for the university by reviewing the entry, the qualification that each student has when they apply for the course.
Thank you for the clear answer, sir. There's the sixth question, from Bernardius Matteo Winardi. Does Navitas help us with the student visas?
We do. So we've got two different ways that we can help a student apply for their visa. And we appreciate it can be a worrying process to go for the visa, but we try and make it as simple as possible. We have a team actually based in Singapore, firstly, that can help all of our students with the visa application process. We have an agreement with a global company called VFS that help students apply for their visas, and we can help students with a referral to VFS for a very small fee. A lot of students also choose to apply through an education agent, and they will also help with the fees. So we give the students the choice about how they would like to apply for their visa.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Theodus Elvin. What kind of jobs does Navitas could lead us to?
Wow. Where do your dreams go would be my answer. You know, we have probably access to thousands of different degree programs ranging from A to Z of every subject you can imagine. All of our universities are top quality universities that are recognized around the world. So if you graduate from any of our colleges and any of our universities, your degree will be recognized by many, many employers around the world. And I know from personal experience, many of our students that have come through colleges that I used to work at are now in top executive jobs in major companies.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. Right now, there are a couple of more questions storming in. One of them is from Cyrillus Parulian Setiawan. Does Navitas provide any summer course programs for international students?
We do. So we actually operate what we call a trimester system. So we have 3 different intake points per year. So typically our courses start in either January or February. They start in May or June, or they start in September or October. And so we allow a very flexible study system where students can choose when they would like to start the course. And many of our colleges do also offer like a traditional summer program where you go and experience what life is like in that destination for a few weeks. So yes is the answer.
Okay, thank you, sir. This may be the last question that we're going to get for today from Nicholas Russell William. Are there any limitations for the part-time jobs, time, and wages?
Sure. So again, that varies depending on which country you go to. So as an example, in the UK, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week on your part-time studies. And that's very similar across all of the different countries that Navitas works in. So typically we want to say to students, we need you to be focusing on your studies. moving overseas and having to work to fund your studies shouldn't be your primary driver. But we understand a lot of students want to get experience at the same time. Many of our courses have the option of doing an internship or a placement year. In Canada, it's also called a co-op year. And so you're able to go and actually take a year out or even take a few months out and go and do full-time work during that period of time on your same visa and get real quality work experience of studying with a good company.
Thank you, sir. And it looks like there's another question coming in from Medicus Ranga Daniswara. Is there any student exchange program in Navitas University?
So yes, we do have the option. So one of the examples I mentioned on the presentation was Kurt in Singapore. And that's a really good option because that's a satellite campus of one of our universities. And so you can move between different campuses as you please. So, we do have the option of kind of campus exchange programs as part of our courses. It also would be available at Murdoch University in Dubai, at Lancaster University in Germany. We'd have similar options there.
Okay, it looks like the final question from Alexander Alamsia is already answered on the presentation, and
You've just muted yourself, Daniel. I think you're still on mute, Daniel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
So the final question is already answered on the presentation, therefore wouldn't be necessary to be answered.
Perfect.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching the webinar. Any further questions, please visit the booth on Navitas, and this event is also supported by
Thank you very much.